This is a, right now, the law just looks for public comment with reference to developments in Tier 3. This one's in a Tier 4. So therefore, we are following the regular rules, which are, at this point, the Planning Commission would either move to approve or to approve the preliminary plan. I believe there was an earlier suggestion, and I believe Mr. Lessner agreed to add a note to the plan. That may be something that you would wish to do.
Thank you, Council.
So would you?
I don't have money.
What do you?
Yeah. You're okay. Yeah.
All right, Madam Chairperson, I would move that the Planning Commission approve the preliminary subdivision plan entitled Washington's Discovery XPN number 14-0006, and the Planning Commission find there are adequate public facilities to support the project, and that the Planning Commission adopt the findings and recommendations incorporated within the staff report, which is dated August 8th, 2016. An addendum to the recommendation was added for rain barrels, I believe. So I would also append it to the staff's recommendation to include in the homeowners association bylaws that the requirement for use of rain barrels be included.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded that this preliminary plan be approved. Are you ready for the question?
I would like to discuss it before we vote. Is that possible?
Yes.
You brought up these issues for discussion. I didn't know whether or not you wanted to get some input from other of your colleagues. I don't know if any of them may wish to propose perhaps some addition to a comment, since these are the issues that you're raising. But I just want to make sure it is that everybody got a chance to respond to the issues, the important issues that you're bringing to the forefront.
There is a motion on the floor, and there were no other comments.
Okay. None in response to Ms. Schertler.
Unless
Well, we're in discussion now.
So we're just in discussion now, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody got that opportunity.
Yeah, I was finishing up with, I don't believe that the applicant has shown that this is superior design.
I think, Mr. Lessner, this is the time for the board's discussion.
Nancy, had you completed your discussion?
Yes, I think I have.
Any further discussion?
I think Mr. Barnes has a question for...
Yes, we have a question on the floor.
If there's no further discussion, are you ready for?
If I could, I
Yes.
was just approached by Mr. Lessner, who's wishing to request that this be withdrawn, or at least deferred.
I call the question.
Make sure that we're sure what we're voting on, okay?
Okay. So the request now is to call the question to move forward with the vote. Prior to calling the question, Mr. Lessner approached and asked whether or not we could defer it. I don't know. I can only surmise that any of the issues that may have been brought about are issues that he may wish to address. I'm just throwing that out there. At this point,
Okay, so they're not voting on the project right now. You're voting
just to call
the question. Okay, thank you.
And who moved it?
Ms. Sherrard seconded.
And you
Seconded.
So we're now voting on.
Whether or not to close discussion and take it to a vote.
Okay.
So it's just you're not voting on this. You're voting on whether or not to
vote on it.
Stop discussion and whether or not we go ahead and vote.
Oh, yes. We all in favor of stopping discussion and moving forward with the vote. Let it be known by.
Would you like Ms. Pickerel to do a roll call?
Yes.
Robin Barnes,
Opposed.
opposed to closing.
Opposed to closing.
Okay. Rosemond Daya,
4.
Wayne Lagoon,
Opposed?
on your last. Angela Sherrard,
4.
and Nancy Shirtler.
4.
And I'm last. Opposed.
You're opposed, okay.
I would now like to withdraw my second.
Okay, so we have 3 opposed and 3 for.
That
Is that
motion
correct?
does not carry.
Right. It doesn't carry. He's going to withdraw his original motion of approval.
Do we
For
have to vote on that?
perhaps corrections from the applicant.
Do I hear a second?
Well, do we know that there are,
I don't know. I don't know.
it's
But
deferred, they
what I
wish to
can,
withdraw it, so, correct?
what they want to do is withdraw it, or, I'm sorry, defer. And what's before the Planning Commission right now is the applicant's request. Basically, he's asking to defer any decision on his request.
And I just move that we do that deferral.
Is there a second? Yes, you
So
can ask a
what is it,
question.
what is
Would
it?
you speak into the microphone,
I'm sorry.
please?
So what is a deferral then? I understand
It
withdrawing.
delays your decision to another meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'll second the motion.
And quite frankly, if I
I don't
might,
see any reason why not.
if I might, I mean, just as a matter of administration, if Mr. Lessner or perhaps the attorney had gone ahead and submitted a request to defer any action on it prior to this time, typically it simply would have been rescheduled for another agenda.
Yeah, well, first and second, are we in discussion then?
Yes, be
Yeah,
ready.
as far as discussion, I don't see any reason why not to, so if any of the other board members have I definitely would love to understand what the issue would be.
I clearly suspect that there's some corrections that are going to be considered. There were issues brought up by some of our members, and I think perhaps that the applicant wants to address those prior to bringing this to a decision.
Is there a statute on how long this is going to be deferred, or I know?
No, personally, as far as I can tell, if an applicant wishes not to bring something forward and knows that he needs to have approval by a certain period of time,
Right.
it's really at their own risk.
I do suspect they're going to want to come back very quickly because they want this approval before October 16th.
Yeah, I just am not sure why, when we have a quorum, why we wouldn't
I agree.
go forward with it.
Why you wouldn't do what?
Well, I'm not sure, I mean, we have a quorum, I'm not sure why we would not go forward with it. I mean, it would be one thing to withdraw an application before we spent the evening talking about it as opposed to looking up and counting.
But I think you brought up some valid points that he may want to address.
And they would have to be completed by October. We'd have to have them back in time before October 16th.
Right, you'd have to be able to.
And it has to be put
Right.
on the
But I
agenda
mean, I
before
think
that time. We're already in August. We're in
You
August.
gave him the suggestions.
I know I didn't give him suggestions, I was saying that I didn't think that the development met the requirements.
You showed him your opposition, and I think he wants to address that opposition.
We're putting words in his mouth. A motion on the floor if we're following procedure.
Yeah, while we had the motion on the floor, it would not have been in order for him to actually address any level.
So is there a motion on the
We
floor?
can't bring him in as part of discussion. You got a motion and a second. Why can't we bring him in as part of discussion?
There was
Because
not a motion and a second to have Mr. Lessner come back and speak.
No, there's a motion and a second to defer it, and he's got some input on that.
why?
And Nancy was requesting why. Were you not requesting why defer?
Oh, no, now my question is, and no,
What are we
no
doing?
offense, what the heck we're doing?
I think the real issue here is whether or not we wish to have this matter deferred. I believe that what Mr. Lessner would like to do is simply say whether or not he would like to have this matter deferred. This matter deferred, is that
I
your...
would like to defer the matter. I would like to bring it back soon. I think there's only 2 meetings in September. I don't even know if there's another meeting this month or not, but there's only 2 meetings in September. So in 2 to 4 weeks, I'd like to be back before you. And Ms. Shirtler certainly brought up some issues. And given the opportunity, I think I could explain those Most of those weren't issues that were brought before me when I was sitting here, so.
Mr. Ball, can you have this back on the agenda within the time?
Yes.
That they need?
Yes, we could.
He's saying he can have it back on the agenda.
So then, I'm sorry, Ms. Theobald, so then my question is, it's going to be another work session, or it's going to be this, when the applicant is going to come back? I mean, are we going to do this back and forth? Because it's either a work session here, or
It's
it
not
is...
a work session. But
Okay.
So there's a presentation of the preliminary plan. The staff goes ahead and gives its report. You're given the applicant an opportunity to go ahead and present and answer some questions. That's what it is that I believe the Planning Commission had already done.
Right.
There was a motion that was made to try to go ahead and say approval. There was a lot of discussion. There were some issues that were raised. The question then became whether or not he could go ahead and defer the project moving forward. As I'm understanding, it's the motion that's being made to go ahead and defer it. He's actually gone ahead and asked directly if the Planning Commission could defer it. And up until this point, we were all surmising what he might want to do. He's already said he would like to go ahead and have an opportunity to come back before the Planning Commission in a short period of time to address any of the concerns that may have been raised in discussion after the period of time when he would have had an opportunity to really engage with the Commission. Because I think the big issue is that when there were issues raised in discussion, there was an open motion on the floor, and for him to have gone ahead and tried to interject into that would have been potentially out of order. So essentially what we're doing is, at this point, the question is, he's asking the Planning Commission, can this please be deferred to come back to another day?
All right.
And my question is, to what effect are there going to be substantial changes to the plan that we've been voting on? Is that what the deferral is for? Or is it to get an uneven number of Supreme Court justices?
Exactly. That's my concern.
I would say that I second that motion because things were brought up that in the discussion period that were not addressed to staff or him, and I don't see a reason why, if those are, material, issues, we don't get additional information on them. So I'd like to defer and have additional information on them because some of the things you brought up, several of them I hadn't thought of. I'd like to have more information on them. So
To the drawing board.
Because it very may well be the case that given some of the comments, the staff would go ahead and potentially beef up a condition, and the condition may be, actually the condition that you raised with reference to the including a comment for the HOA, that was something that they were willing to go ahead and do. So to the extent that any of the other comments are things that they may be willing to go ahead and add as additional conditions to the plan to address some of the concerns may in fact, and like I said, I'm not an engineer, I'm not a developer or anything like that, but they were willing to do that on one issue, don't know.
Okay.
And then that may trigger another staff report. Is that correct?
It's going to trigger another staff report.
would have to, I would say.
Staff doesn't want to hear me say that, but yeah.
Mr. Lessner has asked to defer the project, Washington's Discovery, and I think we need to accommodate his request.
I just have one more question, if I may. To Mr. Ball, then, my question would be about the grandfathering clause. Where does that fit in if this cannot be accommodated? Or we're obviously spending a lot of time here that perhaps some of the agenda items would have to be postponed till next time.
Well, we'll put it back on we'll ensure it comes back to you in time to meet the deadline, if that's your desire.
And I have this feeling that Mr. Lessner will be at your door, Mr. Ball.
If they don't, we'll give them deadlines. If they don't make it, then they won't be there.
Accepting Mr. Lessner's request for deferral, let it be known by the usual sign.
Aye.
Roll call. Ms. Pickerel?
Roll call. Nancy Shirtler.
Opposed?
Angela Schroer.
Opposed with comment. I think that we have a quorum here, and we could have accomplished this tonight. The presentation was made. There were inadequacies, and I think that we should have accepted that.
Rose Mandea.
Opposed.
Wayne Magoon.
4.
Robin Barnes.
4 with comment. I think that it's in fairness, information was presented. I, as a board member, would like to have additional information. I think this is a route to do that, so I am for.
And Joan Jones.
For.
Again, we're tied.
We're going to pass this matter at this point and allow DNR's presentation to go forward.
Before we do that, should there be a motion on the board to not move this project any further, for the record?
Say that again?
I think the board needs to vote to deny the project if you're not willing to defer it and you're not willing to approve it, so there's a clear record of your action. And if you tie on that vote, it fails and the project is denied.
It will have to be presented on another agenda. He's not withdrawing his application.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
He's not withdrawing an application. If you decline to take any action on it, there's no action on it, and the matter continues as an active matter where an applicant still wants to proceed. It's not proceeding tonight. It will have to proceed to another evening.
So then we didn't even have to take a vote.
Not really. I mean, you've got a vote that says go, and you got a vote that says don't go, and they're both tied. Well, we haven't made the other one yet, but that's probably the assumption. So it moves forward. I mean,
Or it doesn't move
Well, it doesn't
Or
move
it doesn't.
forward.
It doesn't
It'll
tonight.
have to come back to the board. That's why we have an odd
But
number
it has
of
to come
members.
back.
Right now, we don't. We didn't get a majority vote, so I don't know how you could have a decision either way.
You can't, which is until there is something dispositive, the applicant's application is still active and pending and has to be addressed.
I thought,
Isn't the vote to approve that fails essentially a denial?
Yeah. That's what I thought.
There is no vote on
The
that.
vote was,
That's the thing.
Is it a vote to deny that fails approval?
No.
Just, it doesn't move
I think it
forward.
works either way.
That's,
It just stands
I agree
still.
with Mr. Ball. It doesn't move forward.
It doesn't move
I don't know.
forward.
not at this session.
We're going to end up going to another session. Did I already hear a motion to
I
disapprove?
thought, okay, then I'm confused.
I already heard a motion to deny it, right?
No, I thought the motion, if the motion to approve doesn't pass, I thought that meant it's denied. Now, are we saying we have to have a motion?
That's not
No,
what she's
it
saying.
just does not move, it does not move forward as an approved preliminary plan.
Not tonight.
And since the applicant hasn't withdrawn
If
it,
I may interject, I mean, this project has been under review for 2+ years. We've put a lot of time and a lot of treasure and a lot of effort, not just Lorenzi, Dodds, and Ganell, but staff, hours and hours and hours, not just local, but state also. There's a lot of people that have had a lot of effort that have gone into this. And, I'm not asking for a vote tonight. I'm just asking for a deferral. You obviously brought up some very, I'll say, legitimate questions. And given the opportunity, I think I would like to respond to those. I think we can do this in a very timely manner, bring it back to you in 2 to 4 weeks, whatever staff can accommodate. I think I can do it where I don't even change the plan. I think I can respond to you in writing so you can see my response. If some of your things, some of your items require a plan change or a note or a condition, we can make them a condition. We do it all the time. You do it week after, month after month at all your planning commission meetings. All your plans have conditions. We can easily do that, just like the rain barrels that were brought up. That would be a condition that I would either, you would make that a condition on your approval letter. So I think a lot of the issues that you brought up or other folks brought up, I think we can do that in a very timely manner. Doesn't even necessarily need to have staff's review. They can certainly put their input in on the staff report to concur or not concur. But I think staff has done a great job in putting this together. But I just think it would, in all fairness, I'm respectfully asking that we be allowed to come back in 2 to 4 weeks to address the concerns.
Okay.
or not.
So if we're voting that it doesn't move forward tonight, it still basically will move at another session.
Yes.
I mean, it's basically the same thing.
That's what I
It's
said.
the exact same
The vote was
thing.
me. Yeah.
It's just that we can't reach any conclusion tonight, but it will move forward at a later date.
And my concern is, as Mr. Lessner said, there's been a lot of time spent on this plan, and I'm not sure why we shouldn't finish it. And because I believe most of my concerns are cannot be fixed with a condition.
All right, we still have quite a bit on the agenda.
Yes.
Can we move forward, and we'll have more discussion on this at another time?
Okay.